Matty Loves Podcast. Matty Loves Podcast.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Matty Loves Podcast. I'm your host, Matt D. Simone, and with me, as always, Dr. Tom Lucas. Welcome back, Tom.
Hey, man. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Yeah, it has. It certainly has been. Volume 2 still continuing along here, but we are about to reach our 1-year anniversary.
Oh, really?
Yeah. July 4th weekend will be Matty Loves Podcast's 1-year anniversary.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Wow.
And here we are at the beginning of June. I'm a fresh month off of graduating from college.
Mm-hmm.
So the undergrad career is officially done.
Yeah. So how does that feel after having gone to, learning at 2.5 times the speed of a normal undergrad student, completing a bachelor's in a little over 2 years?
Yeah.
How does it feel? Like, what happened immediately after graduation in the last few
I
weeks?
guess, I've just pretty much, been taking it easy, kind of just appreciating, what I did, and what all I accomplished. I've applied to a few shots in the dark type deals, like Marvel, DC, all these things that I find, I'll go to it and just, apply to it.
Sure.
I wrote a couple, cover letters for a couple of the jobs, like Marvel games.
Right.
I did that.
It's a numbers game,
right,
though.
Exactly.
You have to keep shooting stuff out.
Exactly. I just taking it easy, working, making a little bit of money. I just got back from going home for my brother's wedding in Roanoke, Virginia, which was lovely. I got to stay in Hotel Roanoke, which I'd never done in my whole, and that's
Is it schwanky?
It's been around since 1882.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. My blog this week, I have a picture of it.
Okay.
That like the first picture that you see on there.
Is it haunted or anything cool like that?
I'm sure that if you ask some people that have worked there long enough, they can probably tell you a few stories.
Okay.
There's no way that you couldn't, I don't think, when you walk around that place, because it's got a very kind of Ghostbusters feel to
right.
it. Like when you walk in the halls.
Like you would almost create a haunting.
Yeah.
In your own mind.
Well, it was closed for the longest time when I was growing up for renovations. Like I guess it just gotten so shitty that they needed to go in and just pretty much flip the place.
Right.
As far as the rooms go, I'm guessing. So that was pretty cool. Like I said, it was a nice wedding. I enjoyed seeing all the family, and my plan was to come back here and start getting to work. And one of the things I wanted to do was get you here to record a few episodes of the podcast, because a lot's been going on so far in 2016 out of all the dead bodies,
Yeah.
Like 2016 for me, I don't remember a year when there's just been so many just tragedies as far as deaths of artists.
Oh yeah, no, it's
from everywhere, from all the worlds that I dig, from, oh my God, Darwin Cook to Prince. Mm-hmm. We had Bowie earlier this year.
Glenn Frey.
Talked about Glenn Frey.
Dude from Mott the Hoople. Yeah, I'm serious. The guy from Mott the Hoople died.
Wow.
Yeah.
The drummer from Megadeth.
Right.
During their heyday years in the 90s, he passed away. I just
and in the wrestling world.
Oh God, Dusty, Roddy.
China.
It's been a weird year as far as that goes, but creatively speaking, there have been some interesting things to come about. I think we talked a little bit about Batman versus Superman. I think the last time we
did, and I'm in this minority that enjoyed the movie and didn't really get too uptight about it. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what comes next.
Going back, I don't know if I'd said this before, but for me, if you would have posted just Wonder Woman arriving and the rest of the movie on YouTube, I would have been like, Tom, you gotta see this shit, dude. Like, this guy took a lot of time and effort to make this shit look awesome.
Right, right, yeah.
Even though you can't really see the fight very well.
It's very murky.
It's good for YouTube, you know. But and with that said, I feel like the X-Men, the newest X-Men film is kind of sort of like that. Only I can deal with all the exposition leading up to when everything just starts getting crazy. The last 40 minutes are dope.
So now you saw it last night at the premiere.
Yeah,
the Thursday night premiere.
What?
Of X-Men.
Of X-Men,
right?
Well, that wasn't last night. Thursday night premiere would have been back Memorial Day weekend. But yeah, I saw my own personal premiere of it last night, I guess you could say. And
I'm going tomorrow night.
You're going tomorrow
But I don't
night.
give a shit about spoilers.
Oh,
I never have. I'm not
right.
a spoilers person.
Well, then this episode is dedicated to talking about the comic book movies.
Okay, so let's talk about the comic book movies. You want to start with X-Men?
Well, do you
want to dial back to Civil War?
Let's kick it back to Civil War, man, because I really enjoyed that movie.
Oh yeah, me too.
And and you know me, like there's bits and pieces that sometimes I just can't handle, and I'm just like, oh, but it's not like the comic books, you know.
Sure.
But
Preacher.
You have. Oh God, yeah. Oh, geez. So anyway,
Moving on.
you've kind of trained me since I've been down here to kind of just watch these comic book films for films and not watch them for being comic books.
Right. Yeah. Not doing the comparison
that's,
thing. I didn't even know I was doing that.
Yeah. No. That's like one of the first things you kind of told me when we were talking about the comic book films. You were like, "Yeah, Matt. Well, you gotta just enjoy yourself and not hang yourself up too much on the details and how it's not right." And
wow, I sound smart.
Yeah, well, you are smart.
I said that. Wow.
Yeah. So anyway.
Okay.
So I kind of trained myself more towards that here in the past couple years, and in watching Civil War, I went into that movie with like not even like going into Batman Superman with like the lowest of expectations. Like I had zero expectations. I wanted to just see what was going to happen for 2.5 hours.
Right.
And if they could keep me locked in without looking at my watch, seeing where we are and, okay, the midpoint's coming up, and doing that kind of stuff. Because once it goes there, that's it. And I would say I was in that flick for probably like 2 hours before I was like, damn, man, how much more of this is going on? This is crazy,
right.
And about that time, I was like 30 minutes to go, and I was like, here we go.
Yeah.
But I think that it's the best Captain America movie, if you want to call it a Captain America.
It is a Captain America.
It's a bridge. It's a bridge.
It's almost Winter Soldier Part 2.
Yeah.
Because boy, does Bucky get a lot of time. And he is the focus of pretty much the whole thing.
And I dig that too. Yeah. I really do.
Yeah,
I really like that. Because I just, I wasn't like, everybody was just so like boned up about Winter Soldier, and I was like, it was a good movie. I love Robert Redford.
Yeah,
like I'll watch anything with him.
Sure, it's one of the greats.
But there was just, it was just, I don't know. For me, it kind of felt a little predictable.
Oh well, yeah.
And being that these films are kind of, obviously straying from, certain, stories and stuffs that mythos that we grew up reading about and everything, which is fine, but give me some surprises then, like make me give it a guessing game, and Winter Soldier, I wanted to know who was the, secret Hydra boss. I didn't want to be right away, well, it's Robert Redford.
Yeah.
I didn't even read any spoilers to figure that out. But with Civil War...
But it's like, who's this really big name actor who's suddenly in the Marvel Universe?
Right, yeah, exactly.
And there's a big Hydra conspiracy storyline.
So going into Civil War, I saw the previews for it, and, the first initial ones, I was like, what, did they shoot this at a mall? I was like, what is going on here? There's only like, I don't. It just didn't. It didn't look very appealing. It looked very like rushed and put together in front of a green screen. And I mean, I was super wrong. Once we first saw Spider-Man, that's when I was like, okay, this will be interesting.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's the most tone perfect Spider-Man we've seen.
That's
in
two
any
things we've
movies.
gotten this year.
Yeah.
Two positives. If anybody can take away two positives, they can probably agree with me that we got our best Batman to date.
Yeah. Batfleck?
And our best Spider-Man to date in the same year.
Yeah.
You know, and they didn't even have their own movies. So we get the Spider-Man movie next year, Homecoming, which is I'm just super excited for.
Right,
and then, you know, Affleck's going to be working on.
Yeah, he got the directorial nod. So is it his script as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he and Jeff Johns.
Yeah.
Jeff Johns.
Do we know anything about what they're doing story wise?
No, I don't think so. Not yet. But
just do the Long Halloween.
Man, they could do so much stuff with a new Batman movie. Hush would be dope. I really want a detective story, though.
Right?
I love a nice murder mystery that doesn't involve, like, crime families and really involve, like, Penguin and, like, you know, go deep, man. I want a comic book movie to open with a fight with a hero and a villain that is not even going to be in the film for, like, the rest of the way. He just shuts him down and sends him to jail, and that's the start of the film, you know?
Yeah.
Like that, like, that's what I wanted the beginning of Spider-Man 3 to be. I wanted Spider-Man 3 to open. This is Raimi Spider-Man. I wanted Spider-Man 3 to open with like Peter's like head like kind of like rising up like into the shot looking forward, and his face is all like busted up, and you just see him by the profile, and then you just see a giant gray fist slow motion just punch him in the face and just crush his face and send him back, and he fights Rhino right away in a big gray suit, takes him down, and that's the beginning of the film, you know. But they still have yet to do that, and I want them to do that so bad, you know, because that is just a great way to get you in, you know.
Sure.
And you know, to carry the story, that villain that he takes down will have some sort of vital evidence that will continue everything, you know, along the way. And we don't need to see that villain anymore because he's already served his purpose. I didn't expect that for Civil War. One thing that I didn't expect, though, was for there to be like 10 total characters in the film, and we knew everything about everyone, their motivations. They get it all in really super fast and snappy, you know? Like when Hawkeye shows up.
Right.
You know, Hawkeye, you know, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, why hadn't Hawkeye been here since the beginning? And then they mention his wife and kids, and I was like, oh, yeah, that stupid thing from Avengers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's already a thing now, so I can deal with it now, you know? Yeah, so, you know, I like that. I liked being able to actually follow along with all of the characters and not have to worry about, you know, what is our villain's motivation here, you know? What does he want? And it, you know, it was clear from the beginning, you know, what the whole issue was, and it's kind of playing off of the whole issue from even going to like Man of Steel. You know, they had you just destroyed Metropolis, you know, and no one said anything, you know. They're like, okay, fine, you know, let's really look at superheroes. If they were around, you know, how would we perceive them and how in their actions and how they take down, you know, the bad guys, you know. And I guarantee you that a majority of the country would be like, what the fuck, you know. You guys are destroying the world by doing
the old
this.
Alex Ross Marvels. You know, really, it did a ground level, from the street sort of look at heroes and, you know, what their impact would be on the world. And Kurt Busiek's Astro City series also does a lot of that street level
I need to read that,
stuff. Man. And it's nice. It's really nice. I feel like it's criminally underrated somehow, but maybe the actual number of readers and sales are different, but I feel like he's never talked about. And I feel like he really understands how a superhero mythology, how a pantheon should work.
Yeah.
You know, and what elements it needs to have.
He does the team game really good, man.
Yeah.
I remember when Kurt Busiek and George Perez were on Avengers in like 1999, 2000, and everyone was just raving about it, and it was good because, you know, it was just, you know, like you said, it's just Busiek really knows how to write that real not only cohesive team, but also like ground level, this is what it would be like, think hard about like what it would be like if we did have these superheroes and how they would be looked at by society. So Civil War, I mean, who'd you like the most out of Civil War?
Well, I would say more like, what are my favorite moments?
What are your favorite moments?
Okay, based on what you know about me, what do you think my favorite moment in Civil War was? I've only tried this in the lab once before, and I passed out, so I don't even know if it actually worked or not.
Oh, Giant Man. Yeah. Yes. That was great. When it went from red to blue.
Right.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was a huge payoff moment.
For sure.
For, anyone who read old school Avengers and all, knowing the Avengers pre-cinematic universe and all that kind of stuff. Just... I felt elation. Yeah. I felt excitement when it happened. And another thing too is the simple formula is for any storyteller, any filmmaker, TV show, Paul Rudd makes everything better.
Everybody likes Paul Rudd.
Everybody likes Paul Rudd. Just put Paul Rudd in your thing and you're fine.
Yeah, right.
Okay?
At least for like 15 minutes. Have him like cameo or whatever.
Right, and he's a great, a great addition to it. And I loved all the Ant-Man stuff, too. He's climbing inside Iron Man's suit, unplugging stuff.
Yes.
And all that. And they beat DC to the punch. DC, put Atom on the end of Green Arrow's arrow before Hawkeye did that with Ant-Man.
Yes.
Both in the comics, And there's always been that sort of incestuous competitive thing where they're similar heroes and they do similar things or they look similar,
right,
and all that. And so, but Marvel beat them to the punch cinematically, and you see that and you're like, that's like the Cannonball special,
absolutely,
or Express fastball special.
Yeah.
I don't know why I always want to call it Cannonball, because he was a New Mutant, right?
Yes, he was.
I think that's the
Sam Guthrie,
right? Oh, look at that!
One of the Batman. Sam Guthrie. Cannonball is awesome. Cannonball is invincible if he's moving. If Cannonball is straightforward flying, he is invincible. He cannot be stopped by anybody, like Thor, anybody.
Yeah, right.
And those are the things about the X-Men that I love. Like, there's little intricate things about some of these characters' power sets that make them really powerful, but not all powerful.
Right.
They're limited. They're invincible, but they have to be here.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I love Sam Guthrie. Like he was a rumored external. He's immortal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but the whole Guthrie family, they're all special kids. But anyway. Yeah. Good. I digress.
That was pretty huge, and I'm guessing that you probably really enjoyed the first chase sequence with Black Panther.
Black Panther was my favorite part, man.
Yeah.
My favorite part, actually, my favorite moment was, like when they're in Wakanda. We don't realize that they're in Wakanda, and he's standing there looking out on his kingdom.
Yeah.
And they say something to the extent of, well, they're going to be coming. And he's like, yeah, I feel fucking bad for whoever's going to come here. And then they pan over to the giant vibranium panther statue.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I was like, what? I mean, blew my mind.
Yeah, he's gonna own everything.
Oh, dude, that movie's gonna be badass. Did you see Creed?
It's on my queue.
Watch
Creed is coming.
Watch Creed. That's before that movie comes out. You'll have plenty of time, but definitely make sure you watch that movie because I think his name is Ryan Coogler's the director. Mm-hmm. Oh God, I mean, with what he did with Creed and how just. He made a movie that was, took millions and millions of dollars, but still it had that real, like, indie feel to it.
Okay.
If he can do that with a superhero film, that's going to be something. Even if he doesn't and he just goes all out, that's fine with me because, I mean...
There were just zero flaws in the presentation of the character.
when
there was
T'Chaka
nothing-
dies,
yeah.
like when they showed T'Chaka, I was like, well, I already knew what was going to happen,
right,
you know, like, but how the moment was going to affect me is what I was waiting on, and I was like, oh God, this is horrible, like, oh man, like Black Panther, this is his moment here, you know, so.
When they're all shooting at him and he just looks at him like, what are you doing?
Bouncing off of him and everything.
Yeah.
That is so awesome, man. It's so good. So yeah, loved Black Panther for sure. Loved Spider-Man too. I mean, Marissa Tomei.
Yeah, right.
I mean, timeless.
Aunt May just gets hotter and hotter.
Timeless beauty, man. God.
Right, yeah.
And then the whole back and forth with her and Robert Downey Jr. and then he and Peter and everything. I mean, you know, because I sat there in the theater and I was like, well, when are we going to get to Spider-Man? Because they're not going to just drop him in here. Yeah. And then when it just, you know, they get to that scene and he's like, well, I know someone that might be able to help. And you just cut to Queens. And I was like, here we go.
Right, yeah.
And yeah, let's just jump right into it. Already established the fact that he's been Spider-Man and doing his thing. You know, we know how he's Spider-Man. Yeah. Allude to that really quick. And let's just keep it moving. And it was just fantastic, man.
Yeah.
You know, all in all, I think probably Civil War will walk away this year as my favorite film. It'll be tough. It'll be tough. You know, we have Rogue One later on this year, but
it's maybe your favorite superhero genre.
Oh yeah,
film.
definitely.
I think Rogue One is going to own the world, man. I think it's going to be.
They're having reshoots.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, and whenever I hear that,
reshoots are always
to affect the tone. So I read, and when I read something like that, I think to myself, you know. They caught something in post and were like, we got to change this because this is gonna piss some people off, or there's a period in this film that is just totally like feels different than everything else, you know. My only issues with Rogue One is the fact that we have, again, like, I mean, you know, the Star Wars stories are all about family, you know, I get it, but we've yet again have daddy bad guy, daughter good guy. You know, even though I don't know if it's been spoiled that the main bad guy in this film is the father to the main rebel spy. Okay. The female lead, can't remember the name of the actress. And there's probably going to be a Imperial spy with the rebels that she's in love with, and if they don't do that, then they're stupid. But that, you know, I just read reshoots and I was like, oh God, you know.
Yeah, that's usually kind of a indicator of problems. They did reshoots with Suicide Squad.
Yeah, but I don't think I think it wasn't like major reshoots to where like the director himself was there.
So it's like B-unit stuff?
Yeah. But still though, you know, when I read, you know, the tone to change, you know, to alter the tone, that kind of, you know, I don't know, rubbed me a weird way. But yeah, because I saw X-Men. Like
right,
I
so
said,
let's shift over. Civil War made $1 billion.
Yeah.
And rules the world. So give me the scoop on what I'm going to experience tomorrow night.
All right, so Apocalypse, first, do you remember all the way back when Apocalypse first showed up and how they did all that? Like back in
Is that where we get Archangel? And
Louise Simonson. Back, you know, this was the first arc of X Factor. She created Apocalypse to be their X Factor's main villain, basically.
Their Deathstroke.
Yeah, and he had like this thing called like, I think it was called Ship. It was this gigantic like tower. It was like the twin tower, one of the twin towers, but like double the size. You know, it was huge, and he could like move everywhere in it and everything. So basically, going into this, I'm thinking back to, because this is the first time seeing Apocalypse on the big screen, so I'm thinking back to all of the stuff that we got, you know, back then, what I remember reading as a kid, and I didn't go back and flip open any old X Factors, because like I said earlier, I'm trying to stop with the whole going to see films and making sure that they stay true. But with the X-Men, it's often a hard pill to swallow because I love them so much. You know?
Right, yeah. I mean, X-Men and Superman are like the two big pillars of from which everything else comes from, right?
So, And like I said earlier, this film, the last 40 minutes, if you just got maybe about 2 minutes of text to read, like scrolling at the beginning of the film, and then you cut right to that, I would have been fine, with that 42 minutes of whatever. Mm-hmm. But leading up to... So basically we have Apocalypse in the beginning, back in the day. He's the first mutant.
Was that in his origin too?
The whole transferring consciousness? No, I think Apocalypse was in Sabah like, from the jump. And was, like, sarcophagized or whatever, and then, like, woke up, so to speak. An event happened that woke him up, more or less. Okay. So anyway, so he's transferring his consciousness into a body, which is Oscar Isaac. So you got Apocalypse laying there and Oscar Isaac, and it's in the middle of everything happening, and then there's like a revolt. Something happens. Whole entire pyramid topples down on top of Apocalypse, trapping him under Cairo or whatever forever, basically.
Thousands of years.
Right, exactly. Okay, so meanwhile, you've got Mystique running around trying to find mutants that are being shitted on. So she finds Angel and Nightcrawler in a cage fight. I don't know. I mean, they're just fighting
where in the order of the movies is this story supposed to be taking place?
This is in 1983.
Okay.
So we have First Class that took place in like 1970, early 70s.
Yeah, it's like 72 or something like that. Yep.
Then Days of Future Past took place in like late 70s. Then this film takes place in 1980.
Okay, so it's before X-Men 1 and 2 and 3, right?
That stuff never happened.
Okay, so that stuff never happened.
Pretty much now,
all right,
yeah.
Okay.
If you think about it, like with the way they're going, if they keep going in this direction, why?
Yeah, with First Class, they kind of rebooted.
Right, and then at the end of Days of Future Past, they went back forward, and you got to see all the old X-Men from the original films.
Right, yeah.
But they, that was just...
So we're just going to ignore the...
We're just going to ignore all of that.
Okay.
Okay, so like I said, Mystique's gathering mutants. Okay, she's rounding them up, I guess.
How does Angel even stand up against a teleporter in a cage match? Well, how does a teleporter not teleport out of the cage?
It's electrified. I'm serious. Like, I don't know. As soon as it started, I was like...
How does a flyer even deal with being in a cage?
I was like, well, this is fucking stupid. Yeah. Like, right away, I'm like, look, Angel's strong as shit. Yeah. But, regardless, still, this is dumb. Yeah. If I am Nightcrawler, I am teleporting on his back and breaking one of those wings. Yeah. Which I'm pretty sure... I think... Angel gets one of his wings...
because Apocalypse gives him the whole Archangel look. With
eventually,
the artificial wings.
Okay, so more or less, Mystique's going around doing all this stuff. Apparently, all these young mutants around the world worship Mystique for...
Because she's hot.
Yeah, and she, stood up, in Washington, D.C. with Magneto, and they said all that shit and everything. Yeah. All right, so she's doing all that. Taking advantage of her fame or whatever, even though she's denying it. You got Magneto, who now has a wife and a child in Poland. All right. Why? I don't know. He's working at like a steel mill. Okay.
That's got to be an easy job for him.
So, steel mill, working at a steel mill, right? Accident happens. He stops this big, gigantic thing from falling on a guy, moves it over, saves his life. Do the people around him appreciate it?
No, they're like, mutant! No.
They go to the authorities.
We totally forget what Hitler did.
Like, mutant. So, of course, they all show up at his place. Or they kidnap his daughter. He's like, give her back. He was like, give her back or I'll turn myself in. They're like, okay. He does that. But before he does that, he does something, and one of the guys accidentally kills his wife and his daughter. Like, they get shot with, a bow and arrow, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like, I'm serious.
Is that why he can't stop it?
Yeah, I think.
They get killed with something that isn't metal.
But anyway, so they die tragically, and I'm like, well, that's cheap. You know, that's so cheap. You're like, how?
Killed by an English longbowman.
Magneto's already pretty pissed off. How do we piss him off more? Not a lot. You don't have to do a lot. Just show some mutants getting the shit kicked out of them.
He was in a concentration camp. He's plenty angry.
Exactly. So I didn't really like that. Meanwhile, you've got this young mutant named Scott Summers who, you know, blows up a bathroom one day when a kid's like bullying him in school. Mm-hmm. And you know, he gets his older brother Alex to show up, you know, and say, "Hey, Scott, we're gonna take you to the school," you know, and he's got him blindfolded, and they get him right, and then he meets this hot ass redhead named Sansa Stark / Jean Grey, who
how did she do?
They're the best part of the movie.
Okay,
Cyclops and Jean Grey are the best part, without a doubt. Because when you finally get Cyclops to full-on Optic Blast with power, it's awesome, like in control, like it's awesome. And then you get the Phoenix, which is sick when that happens.
Right.
Scary, like it's dope.
Okay.
And that all happens like within the last 40 minutes. So anyway, they meet each other, so you see where this is going with those two. Mm-hmm. She is afraid to close her eyes because she's, you know, blocking everybody, trying so hard to block everybody out, and Scott's afraid to open his eyes because he doesn't want to hurt anybody. You know, so it's like they got that juxtaposition going on there. Yeah. Then we have the whole Moira McTaggart mind wipe from the last film. When he kisses her and he wipes her mind and she forgets everything. Why they did that, it's so stupid. Well, they reversed that.
Okay.
Yeah, that was one of the things from that movie. I was like, why does he feel the need to wipe her mind? Don't you think you want someone in the CIA knowing that the mutants need to have someone in their corner?
Yeah.
You know? So he clears that up, too. Let's see here. Okay, so Apocalypse gathering his horsemen.
What other mutants do we get?
Okay, so Apocalypse is gathering his horsemen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when Mystique is trying to get out of, like, Germany or wherever she is with Nightcrawler, because she ends up leaving with Nightcrawler but not Angel, she goes to Caliban.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Caliban runs, like, this, like, porting service or whatever, you know, and he speaks in third person. It's awesome.
Okay.
But he's, like, bald. He's not, like, you know, like, got the horn eyebrows and really big. You know, Caliban just kind of looks like a weird, he almost looks like Elixir, the teleporter from the newer X-Men books. But anyway, so you know, they go to him. Well, Apocalypse finds Caliban and realizes that Caliban can, you know, find him other, like, mutants or whatever. Well, chilling at Caliban as his bodyguard is Betsy Braddock. You know, they don't really explain where she came from, nothing like that. Betsy's just kind of there. She's got a sword. And pretty much they limit Olivia Munn to, like, 3 words per line.
Yeah.
So I was wondering about her range, and I don't know what it is still because she's very limited in this film to what they get her to say.
You know, Olivia Munn is just smoking hot.
Yep.
And that's all she's got, though. I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
she's okay in Newsroom.
Yeah, she's pretty good to get a beer with, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, actress. But so she's there.
She's easy to look at, though.
Right.
Like, yeah.
When Apocalypse first gets out of the underground and starts walking through Egypt and, like, you know, just turning random things to sand. You know, whatever.
Because he can.
He sees this young teenage girl with a mohawk who's leading around a group of kids, and he watches them, like, steal a bunch of shit. Mm-hmm. And I think, like, the authorities, like, start chasing after him or whatever, and Storm gets away. And he finds her, you know, and he's like, hey, you know, I'm going to, like, he talks like this. He's like, I'm going to, you know, break free of your limitations. You know, and he, like, turns her hair white. You know?
Okay.
And he's like, now you're really Storm or whatever.
Okay.
All right, so there are others. We got to go find them. So the next person they find is Psylocke.
Oh, okay.
Who, when they're going to see Caliban, and he goes to, like, hurt Caliban, and Psylocke, you know, straight, like, side knifes him, like, right across, like it's right in front of like Apocalypse's throat, and then Apocalypse like goes like, I'm gonna do the same thing to you. And he touches her, and like her fucking sword like gets like a super boner, and it's like shooting across the room and shit. And all of a sudden she's like, yeah, fine, I'll come hang out with you.
Yeah.
And then they and then they go find Angel, and Angel's like, chilling in like this cave or some bullshit, and he's got like a bad wing, and he tries to fight him, and Apocalypse is like, don't fight me, Oh no, he's hanging out in his apartment listening to Metallica. What song? Four Horsemen.
Oh.
So the scene starts out with all right, so all this is going on to this is going on to Four Horsemen. Well, when I first watched,
what would be a really good idea is if we just listen to this song for a minute.
I was like, this works. I was like, I get it, Four Horsemen, I get it. But initially, I tweeted out, I'd said, them playing Creeping Death was pretty dope. And a friend of mine was like, nah, it's Four Horsemen, bro. And I was like, oh, yeah. Something Creeping Death, Apocalypse. But anyway, Metallica, or 80s Metallica.
Right, sure.
Get it mixed up. But, so anyway, so he gives him his Archangel wings in about, like, 5 minutes. I think that took way too fucking long. And then they go and they find Magneto.
Did they do a sequence where he's like gets laid out on the surgical table and then they lower the wings down or some kind of thing?
He pretty much just
waves his hand and goes
basically imbues him with this stuff, and you just watch all of his like feathered wings like wilt and fall off, and they're replaced by like blades and shit.
I kind of feel like this guy could get anybody in bed. Right?
Apocalypse?
Yeah, he's like, the way you're presenting him is he seems kind of like a seducer.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's kind of like what he's doing. So right as Eric goes back to the steel mill after his wife and child die, and he's like, I'm going to kill all of you guys for ratting me out. Apocalypse in the portal shows up. Oh, yeah, he can teleport. I don't know if a lot of people knew that going into it, but Apocalypse can pretty much do, like, anything.
He's godlike.
Yeah. He can do anything. Including like mind fight with Professor X was anyway, they get Magneto, and Magneto is like, you know what, I'm a born leader, but I'm gonna be a follower in this movie. So he fucking says, no, let me show you what you're missing. You're sitting here around all this steel and everything, and yeah, you're a master of magnetism, but you know that there is iron, nickel, everywhere. He's like, and so like, Magneto like starts like, magnetizing the dirt. And he starts like raising the dirt and formulating it and everything, which is shit Magneto can do.
Right.
And it's what we saw him do in the original X-Men film when he's like, you have a lot of iron in your bloodstream. You know that? And he kills the dude.
Right.
He makes that disc and he like flies out. You remember that?
Yeah.
So I guess, we get to see where he first finds out of really the extent of his powers. And I wouldn't even say that, like, Apocalypse does a lot to Magneto to get him to do this. However, when we're setting up for the finish, Mystique and a group of mutants get kidnapped. It's Mystique and Nightcrawler. I think that somebody else, maybe
how's
Jubilee.
How's this version of Nightcrawler?
Good. He's good.
Yeah, okay.
He's like the Wolverine in the X-Men cartoon version of Nightcrawler. He's got that real long, like, comb-over, hiding, like, half of his face.
Okay.
But he's funny. He's funny. Oh, yeah, Beast. Beast is good, too. Only I like Beast as, like, furry Beast, like, all the time. And not like, I've got stuff that can keep it away and everything,
Yeah,
and like, him and Mystique kind of have, like, a common thing throughout the movie to where she's like, why aren't you furry? And he's like, why aren't you blue? And then Nightcrawler, like, pops in between him and goes, I'm blue. So anyway.
Kurt Wagner.
So they all get, like, captured and, like, and they're taken in a helicopter and, like, they're fucking flying over like mountains, and then all of a sudden they're flying over trees, pine trees, tall pine trees, and then you see Alkani Lake or whatever it's called, Weapon X, Department H, whatever. They fly in there, and Stryker's got him, and shit goes wrong, and he's got them all trapped, and they can't do anything, and then something happens to where one of the fucking, basically they're like, oh, Weapon X, something's going on in that deal. And you're like, what? Weapon X? What the fuck? So, so then, pretty much to get them out of that situation, the only reason Mystique and Nightcrawler and all of them get out of that is when Weapon X finally escapes. And so you get to see the headpiece wires everywhere coming out, bang, just nuts, long hair, just crazed Wolverine, cuts everybody up, doesn't say a fucking word.
Yeah.
Rolls through everybody, turns around, pulls everything out and looks at the kids, and then just leaves and runs off into the woods. And that's how they get out of that. And then Scott's like, yeah, well, probably won't see him again.
Right.
Jean's with them too through all that. So that's how they get out of that. One thing that really bugged me, though, was like, they were like, okay, well, we know where Apocalypse is. And they were never really, maybe they told me, maybe they didn't, but there wasn't anything clear that said, here's where Apocalypse is, Mystique. Now you know, tell them so we can go. Mm-hmm. It's just like, oh, no, I know where he is. And so they just go, right? So they go to, like, Egypt or whatever. Magneto is, like, fucking, like, I don't even know what the fuck he's doing. Like, he is, like, building, like, all this metal's, like, circulating around him, and he's got this big force field and shit. Oh, damn, man, I haven't even talked about Quicksilver. And so anyway, like, he's doing a bunch of shit at the end of the movie that they don't really tell us what he's doing. I don't even know what he's doing. He's just sitting there, like, gathering metals.
Is he, like, doing, like, the Dr. Manhattan building a clock on Mars kind of thing?
It seems, it kind of seems that way. And he gets snapped out of it. Mystique's like, you're a fucking leader, You're not, and so, but anyway, Quicksilver, getting back to him really quick, he's fucking awesome again in this movie.
Okay.
Saves all the X-Men in the X-Mansion from an explosion in Cerebro because when Professor X goes down there to try to find either Apocalypse or whoever, Apocalypse like feels him using Cerebro, and then Apocalypse is like, thank you. And now I know where to go to find everyone, And then he like jams him up, and Professor X is all dying and shit, and they finally get the helmet off or whatever. And then Cerebro is about to explode, and as the whole place is like blowing up, they start playing Sweet Dreams, Eurythmics. Yeah. And it's like everything's slow, and then here comes Quicksilver. Yeah. It's that like, woo, Quicksilver moment, because we hadn't seen him really yet.
Yeah.
He goes in and he saves everybody. And how they show Quicksilver saving people is dope.
Yeah.
Like, he comes in, and he'll move and then just disappear, like, and he's grabbing everybody up. He like builds, like, you see him just string all these sheets up onto a tree and then run back inside. Yeah. And he's like slowly just pulling everybody out, and everyone is like in the air on the outside of the mansion. And then he finally like snaps, at the snap of a finger, everyone goes flying into that big huge mat that he built for everyone to hit.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's cool. Quicksilver's awesome in the film. I'm really glad that they're gonna bring him up now. But basically, it's just, take down Apocalypse with the Phoenix. It's basically all you gotta do. And then that's how you end anything.
You wrap it up. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So. And then you set yourself up with the very end of the movie. You got Mystique with the white, blue straight down the middle Mystique.
Oh, nice.
She doesn't have the little flaps, but it's a Mystique X-Men outfit.
Okay.
She looks awesome, and all of them are set up, and they show Storm and Beast and Jean, and then the last one they reveal is Cyclops, and he turns around and he's got the fucking 90s shit and the visor, dude. At the end of the movie, is getting chills thinking about it. The end of the movie,
you got me geared to go,
The end of the movie, I'm like, oh, hell yeah, let's get right to another X-Men movie with this squad.
Yeah.
Boom, credits roll, mid-credits scene. Bunch of guys in suits are walking into, Weapon X facilities. Everybody's gone or whatever. Places to shit. They walk into the Weapon X place. They open up a freezer. They pull out Weapon X blood. They set it into a suitcase with a bunch of other samples, and then the camera's right here looking in, and they shut it, and it says Essex Corps. And that's the end of the movie. So now we know Mr. Sinister is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know how they're going to do Mr. Sinister, you know.
Now, this is Hugh Jackman's done now as well.
After Old Man Logan, yeah. And they're
when is Old Man Logan supposed to
Well, they're filming it now.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if Sinister is the villain for Old Man Logan or if Sinister is going to be the villain in the Gambit movie.
Oh, okay.
But either way, you know, we have our X-Men future, and it doesn't look too bad, man. It really doesn't. So that's
it's always going to be outside of the MCU. So
right. Well, I mean, right now, until they can work a Sony deal out, which I think is probably going to happen.
At some point, Sony's got to realize Fox that they'll just make more money if they tap. They got to look at like the box office on Civil War and say, we don't do that. I mean, with our movies, we don't. Yeah, and it's like it is at $1 billion now, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing that they don't realize, I don't think, is the fact that you do this deal when you have Fox Studios and Marvel Studios on the same, placard with each other.
Yeah.
If you do like X-Men, Avengers, anything, Fox is getting a piece of that shit, man. Yeah. And it's going to be a lot.
Right.
So I just don't understand.
I don't know why they wouldn't just let's make as many deals as possible.
I'm thinking,
you make it, we'll collect some money.
Right. It sounds easy. It's like that's exactly the way I'm thinking about pro wrestling right now. Why don't all these companies just start working together?
Right.
Why don't they all just start working together? Man, I just don't understand it because there's so much talent right now that are working for all these major independent and, WWE, TNA. They're all buddies, man. It's a different era. And they all want to work together to bring professional wrestling back up to where it was, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So, but anyway, so if everyone would just work together, God, the thing would just be beautiful.
But before we close out, so the next superhero movie that comes out is Suicide Squad.
Yes.
And then is there anything else this year?
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. I saw the trailer for it at Civil War. And I was
he
like...
starts walking up the steps with the cape on.
Yeah. You get, the nth dimension stuff and all that.
I mean, if any kids that are like 17, 18 years old first experimenting with acid right now don't go to this film on acid, forget that. Don't even go on acid. Just go like a couple days after you tripped and you'll realize... This is why they made this movie.
Yeah. Now I need to go read all those old comic books.
Right, yeah. Right. And then exactly. One thing that I was talking with my buddy about was, I can't wait until November when there's going to be so many people that are like, oh, Doctor Strange is so dope, man. He's so dope. I'm like, what is your favorite issue of Tales of Suspense? What do you mean, like Doctor Strange? Well, yeah, but I mean, Tales of Suspense is where we first got our Stephen Strange stories.
Right, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. No one reads... What I'm basically trying to say is no one reads Doctor Strange.
No,
He's not one of those
they
characters.
haven't read for a long time.
Right.
Doctor Strange is the guy that the other characters go see when they're up against something magical and they don't understand it. So you go to his hidden house in the middle of New York City, and he's like, oh, well, here, cantrip this and some glyphs and some things or whatever, and okay, we'll open a portal and there we go, kind of thing. So it'd be interesting bringing him into the mainstream. We'll see how he takes.
Yes.
I mean, Harry Potter, there's a lot of Harry Potter fans out there with the magic and the wands and the whatnot and the robes and the cloak of, what is his cloak of levitation and his amulet of this and that.
The Eye of Agamotto.
Yes. So we'll get lots of additional syllables, names that are like 18 parts long and all that.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
What is it? What is the big heavy Normarandu or
Dormammu?
Dormammu, yeah.
Yeah,
Dormammu.
but I don't know if we're gonna get Dormammu
Not in this movie.
one.
No,
we're gonna get La Chiffre.
Okay.
From the Bond from Casino Royale. He's the villain, and he looks awesome.
Are they gonna play Baccarat at all?
I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
First, we'll play a round of Baccarat, then the magics.
Yeah.
So tell me this.
Okay.
Who wins, Dr. Fate or Doctor Strange?
Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Doctor Strange is
the Sorcerer Supreme.
He's in control. Yeah, Doctor Strange is in control, and with Kent Nelson, he has to rely on Naboo to do everything because Kent Nelson is not the magician.
Right.
So.
No, Naboo is takes over the body of whoever wears the helmet. But when Dr. Fate is rolling, holy shit.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, definitely, no,
Yeah.
for sure.
So
for sure.
I think, though, that Strange has a greater repertoire of spells and things. I think Dr. Fate has some pretty straightforward moves.
And he's very, like, meat and potatoes, whereas Dr. Strange is, a guy you want to have a beer with, too, and be like, just tell me about, like, the invention. Like, what is it like? So yeah, lots to look forward to as far as films still left here in 2016. That's all I've got for today. Tom, you got anything you want to add before we wrap it up here?
MegaCon was cool.
Oh, yeah.
That just happened in town. And all I'll say is I was really surprised to see no one saddled up to Peter David's table to get autographs. I remember I had a table at Chicago Comic-Con in the early 90s when I was doing my mini comics, and there was a line out the door for Peter David. I think he was writing Hulk at the time.
For like ever.
Yeah, and and someone said, "Oh, that's sad." I said, "You know what? Peter David has been doing cons for like 35 years. I'm sure he doesn't care if he has a quiet day at his table."
And I'm sure a lot of people have already gotten that autograph.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
He is cemented his legacy.
For sure.
He doesn't need to prove anything to anybody. I don't even know why he still does the show. I guess he must like it at some level.
Yeah. Well, he's local, too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Peter David's local.
I knew George Perez was in Sanford. But where's...
Peter David isn't that far from here.
Okay, right. And then Ethan Van Shiver is a Florida guy.
Oh, really? That's cool.
I think he lives in South Florida. So his Green Lantern stuff is top-notch.
Yes.
The art is
absolutely,
nuts.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll leave it at that. When we come back, we're going to talk what? Free Comic Book Day, DC Rebirth.
That's mainly what we're going to talk about. We're going to get into Rebirth because, I told you to read it. I don't really ever tell you to be like, yo, new comic? You got to get this before
I went
it's
out
collected.
the next day and bought all 3 issues.
Well, let's get to that in the next episode. So,
we'll see you then.
So, yes, for Dr. Tom Lucas, I'm Matt D. Simone. This has been Matty Loves Podcast, and we will see you again next week.
Matty Loves Podcast. Matty Loves Podcast.